Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome, welcome. Welcome to Reinvent Yourself live. So we just went through an amazing 21 days together, and Jason and I are so excited to be here with you in actual time, like real time.
It's great to be here with you. Great to sit in your presence and be here to celebrate all that you've put into this of really the last 21 plus days of really committing to yourself and growing. So it's an honor to have you here, to be here with you, and to actually be live with you to share some of the amazingness that we experienced and that you have experienced on the way.
Yeah, and part of why we're doing this is because we have been getting literally hundreds of letters at this point from you guys sharing your experiences, and we thought, you know, the only thing we would do differently is we would have a space for everyone to hear each other's ahas and openings and learnings and gratitude, because it really has amplified us so much. And for you guys to hear it from each other, it just creates such a powerful community and a lot of learning, added learning beyond what the experts are sharing. The wisdom's inside of you, right? The wisdom's inside of all of us. So what we want to open up for today, by the way, if somebody could type in the chat box, that would be awesome, just so that we know that you can hear us.
You can hear us and see us, etc. Somebody just say, yes, we see you, and yes, we hear you.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell us that you love us, but you can say something.
Tell us you love us. Come on. We love you guys. So today, before we even get started, grab a pen, grab a notebook, grab some water or a cup of tea, close your door.
Light a candle if that's near, or turn on some incense. You know, set your sacred space, because we're not just going to do Q&A, but we're also going to do a specific shamanic pass or destiny retrieval that's going to support you in really claiming what you've cultivated and created over these last 21 days.
Yeah, so when Jason speaks of a shamanic pass, it's do you want to speak a little bit to that?
Sure. So I think we'll go into that when we get ready to do it, and I'll give you some background on that beforehand. But what Veronica and I were talking about is one of the reasons why we chose to do this whole reinvent yourself. I'm going to just take you through a simple story that really touches on a piece for me. When I was in high school, I know way back when I was in high school, I was a wrestler. And my first year in wrestling, I came up against the same guy that beat me every time. Every time I came up against him, he beat me the first year. And then the second year, I would keep seeing him at all of these different meets. And for the first 3 times of the year, he beat me again. And I started to realize that he was going to beat me before I even got out on the mat, because I was fearing him. I was doubting myself. I never believed that I could overcome the power of this man, or the power of his abilities. And I'm in regionals, which was the state qualifiers, and I'm warming up, and I'm of course wrestling him in the finals, and all of a sudden I hear this voice. Rather than the voice that I'd always been hearing is, Jason, you're never going to win. He's going to beat you. He's going to get the same thing. He's going to do the same thing, and he's going to take you down, and you're going to lose. And all of a sudden I heard that same thing, but then I heard a voice say, but what if he doesn't? What if you actually turn it on him this time? You know what's going to happen. You know you can shift this. And then all of a sudden, it became that little engine that could. All of a sudden, I was like, well, maybe I could. Maybe I actually can win. And then all of a sudden, it became more and more, not just maybe I can win. I knew I was going to win before I went out on that mat. And so I went out there with this confidence, this clarity that I am going to give everything I possibly can to this. And within like 10 seconds, this guy does the same move that would always take me down and throw me on the mat. And then it was just a downfall from there. But he went for that, and I threw him off of me. And at that same moment, I hear my coach clap like this, and he goes, all right, here we go. And it was this absolute acknowledgement. He saw the winner in my eyes. He saw that I was showing up and fear was not showing up anymore, that I actually could claim my new destiny right here, right then. I ended up winning that match. Because I showed up and all the doubt and all the fear that was ringing in my head no longer was taking first seat. And that's why we're here today. We're here to encourage you to no longer empower the fear and the doubts that just keep taking the front seat. We're here for your true self to show up and be number one, for the destiny that is your right to actually take that front seat.
So powerful. I mean, you guys, can you feel that it was a choice? And I love it because you went from maybe he won't beat me today. It was like a gradual thing instead of just leaping to, I can do this and kind of faking it. There was just a slight opening, just like the caterpillar, the butterfly seeing that first opening when it comes out of the cocoon. And then you just went for it. You kept going with it. So is there a possibility that today, we know many of you through the interview series have already had these mindset shifts and openings, which is so great. I want to talk about the chat in a second because for whatever reason, it's not showing up. So I'm going to give another way to access the chat. But what if today, this celebration, this training, so to speak, it's more of a celebration, this guided experience opens up your mind to what is possible for you.
What if you can do it? Just even starting there. What if it's possible? The life that you've always dreamed of is actually right here and is possible.
So you guys saw the quote I sent out maybe on Instagram from Joseph Campbell that says, you have to be willing to give up the life that you've planned in order to step into, or something like that, the life that is waiting for you. So that's what today's about. We're going to be going through a simple exercise. Then we're going to be opening up the shamanic path that Jason's talking about to really unfurl your destiny so that you walk out of this weekend, out of this 21-day journey, truly stepping in and feeling what's possible for you and how capable you are and how joyful it can be. That it can be super it actually needs to be joyful, right?
Absolutely.
Otherwise, sustainability is not in the mix. Joy is sustainable, so it makes your what you go for sustainable. It's like the fuel, the engine that drives you forward in life, right? All of us. So if you could grab a pen, a notebook, like we said, I would close the door, have uninterrupted space for this hour so that when we go into the shamanic path, especially, you have some space to really settle into yourself without a lot of noise around you. I have no idea why, but the technology we're using, the chat's not showing up.
It's not cooperating.
So what I am going to suggest, the only thing I can think of right now is I'm going to make the YouTube live stream public. So if you guys know that you have questions and you want to ask those questions, come join us on YouTube. So if you go to my YouTube channel, just type in Veronica Cresto. Okay, so here, let me see if this works actually. If you want to, let's see.
So you're getting a window into the guarantees of any business or any life journey. Nothing is perfect, but it's what you do with what presents itself.
Yes.
As you already know, you know, a lot of the things that we share, it's not coming from a place of preaching. It's coming from a place of acknowledging the truth that you and I, we already know. Here we are. All right, great. We see the chat.
Okay, cool. The chat works.
Yes,
so
that's good. So
you don't have to go to YouTube.
Hillary Metz.
Yeah,
Hi.
Hillary's here, you guys.
Hi, Christine. Good to see you.
Yay, Christine, Natalie. Oh my goodness, so good. Sabrina's here from Berlin. Oh, you guys, it's so good to see your names and you guys all chiming in. So this is going to be a very interactive experience. So thank God the chat works.
That's a good news. That's good thing.
I never had a plan to let go of, but would love to find my path. Thank you guys so much. Oh, so good. Yeah, as you guys have these insights and comments, please do share them. And I do want to say something really quickly because, you know, this would have freaked me out 5-6 years ago or 8 years ago when I was starting my business. And the beauty is, my teachers would always say to me, the issue, it's basically how you deal with the issue is the issue. So how you deal with the issue is the issue. So you always have control of how you deal with things, how you meet life, how you meet the challenges with calm, with dropping the perfectionist, which is not always easy for some of us perfectionists in the house.
I don't know any of those.
Hi, Jane. Oh, Jane's here. So to kick things off, what we're going to be doing, so just to let you guys see what we're diving into today, Jason and I don't even know what each other's are yet.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
We're going to be sharing with you our top 3 kind of ahas that we had from the experts, okay? So we're actually going to invite you as well to get clear on 1 to 3 of the ahas that you had that really shifted your mindset or were like unbelievable to you, like really enlightening to you. And so we're going to go back and forth with our top 3, which is nearly impossible to do because I have like 20, 30, 40 of them. But we're going to do that briefly to just start really crystallizing the learnings and bringing them into very simple, tangible statements so that you can carry them with you. So in your notebook, write down any of the ones that we share or anyone shares in the comments, because there'll be like this fuel that you can keep returning to and open your notebook on days that you're like, oh, I'm just, you feel like you're losing alignment with yourself, with your path. Woo woo, Perfectionist Club, yes. So after that, we're going to open up the shamanic pass. So what the shamanic pass, this is really key to keep in mind, is that there's a vast difference between fate and destiny. So Jason's going to dive into that with us. It's really an extraordinary thing when you realize that fate is what you're given, okay? Fate is and you'll go into it a little bit deeper, but your eye color, your hair color, where you were born, your parents, you can't change that stuff. That's written, that's scripted on your life's journey, right? That's just like etched. Destiny is what you do with that fate. And that, I'm getting chills as I say that, because that is something that we all have power over, that we all have control over. And I like to think of it more as like it invites the artist and the creator within each of us to come in and collaborate with that higher intelligence, that higher power, just like Jason did in that wrestling match, in that moment where he just had a click in his brain, something switched. And instead, oh, I keep getting chills with this, because instead of repeating the pattern of, God, this guy's going to take me down again, he's going to take me down again, he came into the moment and came into that infinite power inside of himself and opened up to a new destiny just by opening up. It doesn't have to be major or huge. It could be a teeny little opening that you keep focusing on through this year. And you keep driving that home, driving that home, driving that home, and you build a certain muscle that's required to step into the life that is opening up for you now, okay? And then we'll be diving into Q&A.
Yeah.
But along the way, please feel free to share anything, because we'll be reviewing the Q&A and answering questions. Okay.
So you're number 1. What was
you're
something?
Number 1.
I'm number 1. Okay. Well, I'll start with one of the pieces that it's not just an aha, or maybe it's just a deep resonance, or it reminded me also of something, different pieces of my journey in my own life. But when Michael Brian Baker was sharing about his last $120 he took out of the bank, as he had it wasn't that as he had everything already set up to begin this new business. He has a baby and his wife, and his wife supporting him, and taking that last 120 out and actually feeding the homeless. It was this piece of this absolute jump of faith. I don't know how this works. I just know I trust in the teacher who guided me with this. I trust in the work that I'm doing. I trust in myself. I trust in God, that doing this is a sign and an acknowledgement, not that I'm expecting to get something back, but I trust in this. I trust in me. And him going out and actually feeding the homeless with his last 120, and then having immediate impact as far as being of service, giving out there, having a business set up to really be of service, an intention of service, and then getting that back in an immediate success in his business, and then just booming and growing from there. So that was extremely inspiring for me.
Yeah. So if you could write your number one, that's super powerful. Is there, in the comments as we're sharing, so we're going to share our top three. Share your number one to three, could just be one, or three top ahas in the comments. And we're going to actually go through those as well. For me, there was a big thread line that just kept coming through again and again and again. So my number one is how fear is a companion on the journey of living your purpose or doing anything extraordinary. Nearly every single expert said the exact same thing, that they experience fear along the journey and it's a companion. And some of them, to be honest, really surprised me. And Jason and I were talking about how it's so important to pull the curtain back and show to everybody that, you know, even the most successful people, the seemingly strongest people have challenges. I loved what Gunnar shared about waking up every day with the fear. I mean, that was profound to me. I was really shocked. Josh Radnor, the actor, you know, a lot of these incredible leaders, some more sensitive than others, some seemingly super strong and strong constitutions. Like, yeah, I have fear every single day. I mean, powerful. So I want to highlight that for all of us, because on the journey, when you see that fear is coming up, when we see that fear is coming up, it's such a beautiful invitation to just like, breathe it in and know that you're connected to all your fellow sisters and brothers on the path who are doing extraordinary things. And it's just a sign. Like Josh Radnor said, one of his friends made a list like every time he failed. Yes, like he was looking.
That's great.
That means he's on the
You're
path.
getting that much closer to your every fail is part of the success.
Yes.
I think that also includes making your why bigger than your why not. Yeah. Because it's that fear and doubt that keeps us in the why not rather than the big why.
Yeah. And like Megan Neely, she said, do it anyway. Fear comes up. Fear is a visitor. Do it anyway. And many of you wrote that one in. And by the way, we have read every single letter. We just chose to do this live stream so that we could reply in this way, but we're going to be doing our best to reply to each of you as well. Okay, number two biggest takeaway or thread line from the series so far?
You know, I really liked, I had a resonance with Megan Neely as well, because she has a background in yoga and had lived much of her yogic experience poor. And this whole through line of just because you're of service or just because you're doing something sacred in your business, that you don't have to be poor doing it. You don't have to not have money.
Hallelujah.
So her whole piece in regards to really sharing of really moving through that belief system that you're just doomed to this middle line poverty or this middle line of just enough. That you really can actually put the energy and the power and the tools behind any business and turn it into a thriving business. So whether that's a yoga business or a jewelry business or, you know, something that you buy or something that is a service that is just, you know, people need all of these different things that you're doing out there. So it's having that belief in yourself and then having the tools behind it to really make it successful.
Can we talk about this for one moment? Like really? Okay, so you making a generous living, doing what serves people, doing what you doing what lights you up, doing what really ignites your heart and your freedom, making more money doing it not only is evidence that you're increasing your impact, it also gives you the flexibility. I'm going to speak for myself for a moment. It also gives me the flexibility to do things that I've dreamt of doing my whole life. So Claire, this is number
please.
two.
Wow.
Number two.
Wow.
Jason just fed, he just fed right into number two.
So, I mean, if you haven't seen that interview yet, you must watch that over this weekend.
Okay, you guys, all the interviews are open all weekend. So you might be landing here for the first time and going, interviews, Claire, who's this person, who's that? If you've missed the interview series, it's all good. You have all weekends to
and
watch.
Monday.
And
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
He just
hours.
Gave you a little secret a few hours into Monday.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, catch it this weekend because it is, available through Monday morning. And some of the people are, oh my God, you guys, just go in there and click the ones that are super, super speaking to your heart. But I will say that Claire from Tree Sisters, because of our willingness to open up to a greater financial reality now in our lives, which some of you know if you follow us on YouTube and our newsletters and such, there's a big shift happening for us in our business and in our service right now. And what is so inspiring to me is because of Claire, who runs Tree Sisters, who's had this dream in her heart to plant 1 billion trees to counteract all of the environmental challenges that are going on in our society and on our planet. I've had this dream of doing the same thing and meeting her. I mean, we were both crying during the interview, which was really profound. But I want to say that this is my birthday month, and what I'm doing this month is I'm becoming a water carrier, a water bearer, which means that a significant portion of all the money I make every month is going to plant thousands and thousands and thousands of trees every month. So the reason I'm sharing this, because it really feeds into what Jason was saying, is that the more you have, and this was a big awakening for my mind, the more we have, the more we can put those resources, that power, that money, that energy into what really matters to us. And to each of us, it's something unique. It might not be the planet for you. It might be starving children, or it might be, helping people heal addiction, or so many things. And when you go and do this thing, it's not just about you, which is so powerful. I know many of us don't step into what we want to do because we think like, who am I to do this? Who are you not to do this? Who are you not to do this? Because as you serve, as you share, as you light up the world with and share what you're here to share, you naturally receive income for that. So it's really important to find that balance. And that's why this is a prosperous purpose 21-day interview series. That's why we asked every single expert to teach us about money, to teach us about how increasing the impact, to teach us about how to be financially savvy, because us leaders of love in the world, we all really need to imagine more money going to good hearts. Imagine what that does for our world. So I really want to personally thank Claire, because I never knew that this interview series would open up something so powerful. And it just feels so good to finally know where those resources are going, and that every time someone signs up for a program or something, they're planting trees. We're all planting trees. Yeah, so
I love that.
Yeah, so big thank you to Claire. And
it's a piece. What Claire is sharing about is phenomenal, and it lines up with our ancestors. We all come from indigenous ancestors in our line. Eventually we get there, and the indigenous are connected to the earth. And there's something that the Peruvian shamans speak of. It's called Aini. It's right relationship and reciprocation.
Yeah.
So there's no way, if you're living on this earth, that you're not taking from Mother Earth. There's no way that you're not taking something or receiving something, right? It becomes taking when you only take and you don't give back, and there's no gratitude, there's no reciprocation.
Yeah.
So if we're a taker, we're a vampire, all we're doing is sucking. We're sucking from Mother Earth. We're sucking and taking through the food, through our house, through energy, through all of these things. But what about giving back? And no matter where you give, if we're not also giving something back to the earth, it's kind of like we're just taking from her. So there's an opportunity for all of us to somehow give back to Mother Earth. And that's such a powerful piece that she really brought forward.
Yes. And I love it. Seeking Health is saying Claire kept herself small because she couldn't outshine her parents. And I related to that. Yeah. Her story about her father was like, raw. Yeah. So, okay. What is your number 3?
Number 3, there's been so many. I mean, James Bailey spoke of becoming authentic, becoming your authentic self, and how he overcame that with his father. I mean, that clearly resonated. Josh Radnor speaking about, how success and fame, be careful of what you ask for, because if you're not prepared for it, all the animals that come with that, and all the boundaries that you're being asked to set, and all the power to harness yourself rather than give it all away. Those were definitely resonance. But I think I'll go to Monica Ogando's speaking specifically about her story of overcoming. I mean, if any one of us have a doubt about ourselves and about being able to do something in the face of challenge, then you've got to watch that video.
It's the first one, and the gift is now attached to it, because many of you wrote us like, where's the gift? So the gift is now there. Her free gift is potent. But she
I'm not done.
Oh, sorry. It's amazing.
But what she shares specifically in there about how she overcame these challenges, I mean, in the face of being fired, not knowing how she's going to support her family. Was she pregnant at the same time?
Terminal 4 cancer.
And yes, level 4 cancer. I mean, all of these things going on at the same time. Stage 4, level 4, level 25,000, really. Yeah. And at the same time, she's starting her business and going forward. So whenever we're in doubt, what we're doing here is we're creating community, like-minded people who are from a heart-centered place, a soul-centered place. We're all here to carry each other up, not put each other down. So when you're in doubt, you reach out to us, reach out to the friends who are going to bring you up, not sink you down to the bottom. So her interview, her story, her share is really about picking us all up and really reminding us, you can do it. If she can do it, you can do it. If we can do it, you can do it. I know where I came from and where I am now, there's no doubt that you can do it.
So with that, a question to think about and write in your journal, in your notebook, is who are the allies in your life that will support you in rising, and who you can support in rising. Just pick one person, somebody. It's, could be hiring a coach or something, but it could also just be a friend in your life who wants to grow as well. So powerful, so powerful. I would say my number 3, and I do want to say there are so many, so this is really, really hard. But Jane Daly, you are speaking my language right now. She said, the reminder of living in the now. So we got a lot of emails. Whoa, like this could bring tears to my eyes about Leonard Jacobson's interview. A lot, like flooding in of, oh my God. One woman wrote something that I actually teach and share about in my book, like all kinds of things. But hearing her say it, and this is the power of community, actually reflected it back to me, and it helped me deepen in it even more. So what she said was, she said something along the lines of when Leonard Jacobson talked about washing the dish with excellence. So to drop the idea of success. And what if everything had to do with moving forward with excellence, doing everything to the best of your ability with presence? Then when you're washing the dishes, the dish will be so happy. You're in presence when the dish is so happy because you've washed it with that much attention and care. When she wrote that in the note, I was like, that was such a quick moment that he talked about, and it really landed for her. And then it took it to another level for me. So I'd say one of the biggest takeaways in my lifelong journey has been applying that in my life every single day, over and over and over again, even with all the transformational work and all the inner work and all the seminars and workshops and books. that one simple teaching that Leonard Jacobson shares is essential. Otherwise, it's very easy to burn out and feel unfulfilled, even when you reach the highest level of success. So I just absolutely, absolutely love that reminder. Just throughout the day, a couple times, even right now, to take a breath, connect, feel your heart, drop out of the thinking and just be here.
And that's another thing of ally, or setting up your allies, because allies aren't just your friends out there or your family out there, but it's also little things that you set up as allies. So you could set up a reminder on your phone, because everybody has a phone these days.
Yes.
Every hour or every 3 hours, just a little buzz to remind you it's time to come present, or it's time to remember why you're here.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So what are your favorite gems and discoveries? So I'm going to just read a couple of them here, and feel free to write more. So Michael's here from Slovakia. So one of my aha moments in their very own way went through big challenges and decided to go into the unknown and grow with it anyhow. Another aha moment, your sensitive spots or weaknesses can actually hold the treasure and turn it into your strength within. Beautiful, Sabrina.
Absolutely. Matt, sometimes when I sit with people and they're going through a challenge, they'll be caught and stuck in the challenge, right? We're lost in the challenge because the challenge is here.
Yeah.
But also what they're also asking for is we're asking to come into mastery of that challenge. But how can you be in mastery of the challenge without the challenge? How can you be, if we choose peace and we're having trouble sleeping at night, and you choose peace, then how can we be in mastery of peace without being at peace with not being able to sleep? Even though it's a big one, but you got to be able to do it all. Like, you've got to be at peace. If you're going to choose peace, then we've got to be at peace with the most challenging things. That's dead on, whoever that share was.
Seeking help. And she also says, Claire said, let something matter. Oh, this is powerful. Let something matter enough to pull you across the bed of nails that are your stories and insecurities. Can we take a moment on that? What is it? What is, like you were talking about, the why?
The why.
What is your why that is pulling you forward? This is, if there's nothing else that you walk away with from this whole interview series and from the shamanic paths we're going to do in this live celebration right now, is to clarify your why. What is it that is bigger than, we were just doing this with the coaches. It's like, what is it that is bigger than you that will get you through the hard moments? Because the hard moments come. Inevitably. Yeah. So even if you don't have that answer yet, I would write down, what is the why that makes me cry? The thing that's so meaningful to you that it can get you through anything. Okay. Really, really important. And Diana Dettinger, we got a lot of notes on her as well. It's like she was speaking about how the biggest pains that we have in our lives oftentimes inform, it's like they're coded in our DNA because that's what we're here to do. So for me, it was someone in my family had mental illness, and seeing her suffer and seeing the whole family fall apart as a result was like, whoa, if she just had the emotional tools, that would have changed everything. So it's like, now I can understand, when I got clear on that, the why that makes me cry is, God, if she just had those tools, she would have been fine. The family would have been fine. So then I've devoted my life to that, So what is it for you, if you look at your core challenge in childhood or in life, that you really, really yearn to see more of a transformation in that area in our world? That's probably a clue into what you're here to bring. Okay. And lastly, I love that in Irish, Natalie says that in Irish tradition, there's a lot of belief that everything has a soul and loves your presence and attention. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely so.
Well, now quantum physicists are even saying every particle, every anu has a soul in it. So it just kind of opens up the mind blowing of, if we make decisions based on our beliefs, that it may limit us. So just opening to the possibility, whatever that means. Absolutely. Everything thrives with presence.
Yes. So if you could, before we dive into the shamanic path, if you want to just open up to what is your vision, just write these questions down. Well, what was your biggest takeaway? What was that one thing that you can, like that like the butterfly in the cocoon, that it sees that one little sign of light and it starts to peck and peck and peck and peck, and eventually it creates a bigger hole in the cocoon, and then it has to squeeze its way out, right? That struggle is a huge part of it strengthening its wings, but it starts to squeeze its way out, but it's just focusing on that one light. What is your North Star? What is that one light that you can strengthen through this year to make sure that you're headed in the best direction for your own growth and the growth of your soul-centered business? I would freeform write after this training and really just, write about it if you haven't already. Just pick one thing from this whole 21-day series that you can apply every day.
Yeah.
And if you want a clue, if you're like, I have no idea what to do, include the presence piece in there, because
that'd be great.
That's a good one. That kind of opens up everything else.
Our one of our spiritual guides, Shankaracharya, he spoke of, he went to a woman hosted an event for him to speak at and do his meditation guide, and he shows up and she has walls and walls of spiritual books. I mean, walls of them. And he said, there's so many books. I'd never seen outside of a library this many books, and they're all on personal growth, spiritual development, meditation, etc. And in his talk, he said, all you've got to do, he just grabbed one book, opened it, and read a line. And of course, it was pertinent to the conversation. He said, all you have to do is apply one thing and live it wholly, fully, completely. And then in that is enough. That's mastery. If you live that one teaching completely, it'll cover everything else. But what we do is we read everything and then put it back on the shelf and then think about it or talk about it as, oh, I remember when I read that. That resonates, but we're not living it. So pick one thing, live it, and that is your way through.
Yeah. So before we dive in, really think about that one thing right now. Take a breath. Think about this one thing you can apply every single day this year, something small, something doable, and bring it in, bring it into your life. Maybe it's when fear comes up, how do you meet that fear? With presence, meeting the dishes with that level of presence. Maybe it's creating such a crystal clear why and painting a picture of it and putting it on your wall and continuously moving towards that why and setting an intention. Garish talked about this, having a mantra, having a statement that you say every day. Mallory also talked about this. Oh my God, her interview. I mean, every interview, she's really, that was another one where she spoke of the fear being there, and look how well and powerfully she's doing in the world. I mean, so what is that statement for you? Diana Dettinger spoke of this as well, to have a prescription, like she prescribes these words, these codes, these affirmations to repeat to oneself every single day. Maya spoke of this as well. So that's a powerful place to start. Write an affirmation, a declaration, a statement. I think Jeannie spoke of this as well. That's a thread line, clearly. A statement that's going to pull you forward every day and uplift your mindset, really stabilize your mindset to align with your destiny.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Natalie says, and whatever you're giving attention to will change through the quality of your attention and beliefs. In quantum physics, they already know that. How you watch is more important than what you watch. Whoa, your state of mind is everything. Jane says, the one thing is so important for me. Instead of trying to do many, then I go into overwhelm. The one concept is so important for me to remember. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. So what is that one concept? What is, I am enough.
Very good.
And so it is. And imagine what happens to your psychology and your physiology when you feel that and breathe into that every single day. I am enough just as I am. I am enough just as I am. I am enough just as I am. Or whatever that statement is for you. Okay. So.
Woo, woo. Okay. So destiny retrieval. Yeah, that's true, Michael, as well as, and I am not enough. If you're going into non-duality, it's embracing both. It's not getting lost in it, you know, if there's enoughness, there's also the other side of the coin. And can we come into that neutrality that somebody wrote in here, that neutrality that is actually the window to freedom, where both sides are okay, there's no charge between either, and in that I am. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason and I were talking about yesterday how there are really two realities that we are consistently tending to. There is the truth of who we are, which is what I refer to as the diamond self, really the true self. That is, you can think of that as the non-dualistic form of reality. And then there's the person, and the person is this human creation,
Wonderful being,
right? Which is such an incredible gift to have the ability to tend to this life experience, to this physical reality, and optimize and reach one's full potential. Like, what an incredible gift that we are coded to be the full potential, and that through this 21-day series, for example, you know, Leonard was a gift in there to really get into that non-dual perspective and into presence. That's essential, foundational, everything in terms of true fulfillment. But really this series has been about helping a lot of us to grow and reach our full potential so that we can live a life on this planet that is more and more beautiful, more and more. It's like playing the game well, as Leonard says.
And that is part of it. I mean, a big piece of it is recognizing in the world that we may still be attached to these beliefs or stories from the past of, for instance, that I'm not enough. And if we have that limiting belief, that can actually keep us from actually full embodiment of I am enough and not enough, and neither is more or less. So sometimes we have to come into I am enough in order to be into this place of letting go of both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And by the way, Seeking Health says his rage meditation was on point. I could not agree with you more.
After I went to his first workshop, afterwards I was kicking and throwing things for about a month, and it was great. But I broke my washer and dryer.
And this is like a Buddha right here. Like,
I mean, I yanked the handle and everything. Yeah,
oh,
a whole
so
long
good.
story. But
for us sensitive types too, like that's, if you guys haven't watched Leonard's interview, watch it this weekend. So powerful. Sabrina says, one thought I had while watching the interview, I could actually be able to create my very own business, including a very unique mix of art and yoga.
Cool.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, if you guys could write in, as we're preparing for the shamanic pass now, just write in what your business is, what your vision is, what is the thing that you're choosing to step into, what is your dream business, your soul-centered business, like what is that thing that would light you up so much to do every single day, where you get out of bed in the morning and you're like, I get to do this and make a living doing this?
Because we're in a circle of creation right now. All of us gathering together are in that intention of lifting you up and lifting your dreams and your possibilities to its highest possibilities. So putting it in there is actually just throwing it in the middle of the vortex.
Yes, and listen to, it's so great. Sabrina says, one night I couldn't sleep and instead envisioned a possible internet page for it. The following mantra being part of the homepage: be alive, be creative, be yourself. This is what I want to share with others. Ooh, energy's moving through me right now. So whatever this gorgeous vision is, yes, yes. And we're sending light to it. Be alive, be creative, be yourself. And so it is.
And so it is.
How to be creative? Well, I don't think there's a way to avoid being creative. If we're on this planet, we're creating. It's just, what are we creating? Are we creating?
And who is creating it?
That's another webinar. That's another training. Okay, so are you guys ready for this?
So the destiny retrieval. So Veronica already went into a little bit about the difference between destiny and fate. This is a visual guided meditation or visualization or journey, however you want to put it, whatever's going to make you feel most comfortable.
Yeah.
Use that term. There's no magic, nothing that's no voodoo, nothing like that. This is really about tapping into the truth of who you are and opening a doorway of a greater probability of what is your highest potential in the world and in you. Okay. So a few caveats before we go into the journey is, number one, what our focus is the feeling. It's not the specific. I want a husband, or I want a wife, or I want $1 million business. We're not going for that. What we're going for is whatever those things that you want, what's the feeling that you're really going for behind that? So if I have this amazing husband or wife, what do I feel? I feel loved, I feel held, I feel supported. What are those feelings? If I have the $1 million business, I feel, it's not just I feel successful. What's the feeling behind successful? I feel accomplished. I feel as though I am worthy. Maybe that's it.
Or
whatever
freedom.
It is, or I'm free, or whole, or whatever those things are. So get to the feeling behind whatever you're trying to get to, okay?
Or even serving others, making a huge impact. What does it
What's
feel
the
like?
feeling behind that?
Yeah.
What's the feeling of gratitude, the feeling of generosity, that positive, uplifting feeling that brings you closer to the truth of who you are? So we want to focus on the feeling, and I'm going to guide you in certain parts of the journey where we're not going for the specific, the $1 million. We're not doing the vision board thing. Okay. This isn't that thing. This is about drawing in the greatest probability of your most amazing life. Okay. So that's number one. The other piece, what the shamans speak of with destiny retrieval is anytime you go to a tarot reader or a horoscope, you get your astro chart done. What they're doing is, whether they know it or not, what they're doing when they're reading is they're drawing in a greater probability of that reality to happen. Okay. Not making it happen, but they're drawing in a greater probability of it to happen. So if you do this carelessly with going out there and doing this all the time, what you're doing is you're bringing in a probability. And then when it happens, you go, that person told me that this was going to happen. And they weren't reading the future. What they were doing is they were drawing one of the possibilities into a probability. Okay. So when we're moving through this, do this with care, do this with honor and respect to yourself. Stay out of the specifics, because we don't know if the $1 million business actually will be for our greatest joy and peace and love that we really choose behind it. We want the quality, not the final outcome that we think will give it to us, because none of those things out there will actually give us the joy, the peace, the oneness. Exactly. Okay.
And so again, this is a destiny reclamation. So it's really reclaiming the life that is waiting for you, as Joseph Campbell says, or really opening up to that higher possibility for your life. So before we dive in, it would be helpful to, if you want to light a candle, if you haven't already, just to declare, just set an intention to open up to the sacred space, which Jason is obviously going to guide us into, and also to set the intention to only receive that which is for your highest good. Okay.
There you go. All right.
All right.
So,
and this will be about 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes. Yeah. So if you're doing this, watching this recorded, then just know that you need about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 for this. Okay. So just get yourself connected to the body, to the breath. Just close your eyes. Keep the eyes closed so you're connected to inside. And just take a few breaths. Deep inhale in through the nose, either out through the nose or out through the mouth. Now let's do another one of those. Deep inhale in through the nose, and then exhale, let it go. An intention of staying connected to the body, to the breath. Feel a connection to the earth. Take another inhale. And imagine now, just as you're breathing inside, that you're just feeling more expansion and light within yourself. Breathing in and breathing out. And imagine you have my hand and Veronica's hand, and we're just going to lift up out of the physical, and we're just going to start to move up. And you're going to go up. You're going to go up, 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 through the sky, through the clouds. And you're just going to keep going until you actually arrive and move through another plane, the plane of the plant world. So you're just going to move through the plane, the archetypical plane of plants. You'll see a lot of light, a lot of green, a lot of flowers, a lot of beauty. And you're going to keep going until you move through the animal plane, where you'll see all the animals from the past, the present, the future. The saber-toothed tiger to the Tyrannosaurus Rex to the chameleon that sits outside your front door. And you're just going to keep going through the animal plane, and you'll arrive to the plane of the human archetypes. And you're going to get off here. And you may see a few people greeting you, a few friends, family from your past. You may say hello or give a big hug. And there's a lot of beauty here, a lot of light, a lot of love and joy. But our intention isn't to stay here today. You're going to actually see, as you look up, a opening of space in whatever is above, and a ladder falling down, tumbling down to right in front of you. And you're going to actually see two guides show up to guide you up that ladder. You may see a man and a woman in angelic form, or however you see these two guides. They're going to take you easily up the ladder, whether you climb it or fly up it. With these two guides, you're going up, up, up through that space above you. And you're going to arrive into something that we're going to call the upper world today. And this upper world is full of majesty and beauty, crystal skies, beauty all around you. Take a look around and see the beauty of this world. Diamonds in the sky above and below, inside and out. All peace, all clarity. Take a look around. This is the place of destiny. This is the place of truth and beauty, oneness. So ask your guides to take you to the altar of destiny. And allow your intention, your mind, your visuals to guide you wherever that altar of destiny is. And when you arrive with your guide, you're going to see a seat there and an altar in front of you. Take a seat. That seat is for you. That is a seat for you to reclaim your highest possibility, your destiny today. And at that altar, you're going to see a book of possibilities, a book of destinies. This book is for you. Now, before you open the book, remember what you're searching for. Your intention is. What are your intentions? What are your highest intentions for feeling in this life? If there are three qualities you want to live by or live or feel in this moment and forward, what are those? Declare that now. And if you're unsure, declare one or declare two. And if you're still unsure, how about joy, love, peace, oneness, presence? And so your intention as you move through this book of possibilities, of destinies, is to discover that one that's going to support you and live your highest possibility, your greatest dream, the one that aligns you with the one and all. And so invite your guys to support you. You're going to go thumbing through the pages, and it's going to show you visuals. It's going to show you lives, but not exactly the specifics. It's going to give you an archetypical story or a play or a photo that gives you the feelings that you're looking for. So begin to go page by page. This is a limitless book. And as you go page by page, you're going to see something and you're going to know this is it or this is not. When you hear the yes, then sit there, feel that, look at that page, and notice, do you feel the things that you're declaring for your life? Love, joy, peace, oneness. And you keep going until you find and discover that yes. If you're unsure, just ask the guides to support you and open when you hear the yes. And when you get to that page, if you find one that's a maybe, keep going. Open to that highest possibility. And once you're there, then put your hand on that page, feel into it. And if you're not there, ask the guides to take you to the page that will bring you these feelings, that will reinforce these feelings in you living forward. And the guides will know what page that is. So arrive to that page, see the beauty of the landscape, the amazingness, the joy, and the people on that page. The archetypical story that is playing out right here, the feelings that come with that of love, joy, peace, oneness, or whatever your qualities are. Now you're going to tear that page out of the book. You have permission to tear it out. And bring that into your heart center. And just breathe that reality in. It's as though you're absorbing it into every cell in your body. It's a remembering, a reclaiming of your destiny, the truth of who you are. And now you're going to ask your guides for a gift that's going to remind you and assist you in living this in your life, these qualities, and attracting these circumstances outside to support you in living. And then you're going to see a gift come from your guides or from the sky, and it's actually going to drop in your hands. This gift is a tool, a support, a reminder. It may be a chalice, it may be a string, it may be a book. It's some sort of gift that's going to assist you in the integration of this knowing, this destiny. It's going to be one of your allies. And then invite in the power animal. This animal is a bird of flight, something that flies. Maybe it's a bird or something of flight, an archetypical character of flight. And this is going to be the power animal that's going to come with you to support you in embodying and integrating this destiny. Invite that animal to come forward. And just see that animal flying right into your arms or landing right on your arm or your shoulder. This is your ally. This ally is going to support you in claiming, reclaiming, remembering, reliving, living your highest possibility, your destiny. And ask that animal if it'll come inside you and be part of you. Breathe that animal in. Make this animal part of you. And now you have your gift, you have your animal, you have your destiny. Thank this space, this upper world, your guides, for the support. For really, this is just a simple extension of you. And take another look around, take another breath in, reclaiming this beauty within you, remembering. And then ask the guides, if there's something you want to leave at this altar, an essence of gratitude. The Native Americans, if they didn't have anything else with them, they'd leave a hair just to acknowledge, I received something from you and I'm leaving part of me here in gratitude, in remembering what I received here. So just make an offering at that altar. And you may discover that you have something you didn't know in your pocket. Offer that here with gratitude, with an open heart. And then from there, ask your guys to take you back down to the human plane, the archetypical human plane. So you're going to go back through, and then down that ladder. You can give another hug to a friend or family member if they happen to be there. I love you. If there's a call to come back here, you may just take note of that. But we're going to continue down through the animal plane, down through the plant plane. You, I, and Veronica are going to arrive back in fully into our bodies. And we're bringing all of that integration, that remembrance, that cellular knowing of this new or not so new destiny. Take a breath into your body and out through the mouth. Another in through the nose and then out through the mouth. And just again, remembering what that destiny is, the feelings that come with that destiny. The picture, not the specifics, but the picture, the story, the archetypical story that is painted on that picture, on that page of that book. Remember your gift. What is your gift? Remember your bird of flight or animal of flight. They're here to support you. Now just ask all three of these pieces, what is your first step? What is the step to embodying this in this three-dimensional body and world? What's one step that you can take with you and begin today? Take a breath into that. And as you come back, take your time, but you're going to write down that step. You'll also write down the gift. You'll also write down the power animal and then what those feelings, what that destiny is that you drew in. You want to do that now because, you know, we're tapped into a level of the mystical. So we often, the ego or the mind will forget some of that as quickly as it can to go back to the way it knows. So write it down so you don't forget. Just get a few notes so you can, it'll jog your memory enough to do everything else. You can take more time with it later, but just get a few notes, a few words, so it'll get you there again. And then the next piece of work with that is you can call on this gift, you can call on this power animal, you can call on that page of destiny and just assist you in carrying you forward, asking them for support in realizing this dream, this reality that you're choosing. And they can even be your kind of your guide of tapping into that owl or that hawk or that eagle or that phoenix and going, does this serve this destiny? Does this serve my highest desire or intention of love, of peace, of oneness? Does it align? Yeah.
And if you could, in the comments, write your animal, write what came through for you, just to
bring it into the vortex of this communal space.
Yeah. And what do you feel having integrated that animal into yourself, into your heart? I know I definitely felt like a woo, that was missing. Who knew?
Who knew?
So if you want to write that down.
So what we're doing is we're working at another level. There's different levels of integration and application. We can work just at the physical plane. We know a lot of doers out there who just are always doing. And there's a lot of people out there who are always feeling. I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, I keep feeling. This is at the archetypical plane, the next level above. This is moving from the mystical where all it takes is just a little shift and it actually may align everything downriver.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And look, so Christine
Spider.
Paul, of course, the hummingbird. Seeking health. Seeking health. Remind me of your name as well. Black Crow, peaceful friend, beautiful. We saw Black Crows this morning.
Hillary, spider
Hillary.
medicine, weaving sacred divine feminine mysteries in the 3D. Love it.
Beautiful.
All right, it's great
Vivian's
to see you here.
An eagle.
All right.
Hillary, we've done Jason's shamanic in-person work many years ago together.
She's come to Peru with me too.
Yeah. Eagle. Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Heather. So
my sister's name.
Yeah, we have a love for anyone named Heather. So notice how if you had this experience and you're like, nothing happened, or I didn't feel anything, or I didn't see anything, there's always an opportunity to just trust that on a subtle level something is happening. It's really, you may not see everything, you know, we all have different gifts, but to really let go and tap into the experience, tap into the essence of what Jason is bringing forward here, which is to open up to a part of the self, or to, the version of you that's pulling you forward. And it might come through in your dream state tonight. It might come through in really interesting and sweet synchronicities that happen through the weekend. Like you hear the same song again and again with certain lyrics, or a certain imagery that keeps popping in.
And a lot of times you may not see visuals, you actually just may hear the words, because we're not all visual. So it comes in the way it comes in, and if we don't have a lot of practice at this, or it's your first few times, it may be kind of jarring, or just not really quite fitting, or there's doubt in there. So that's natural. That's normal. That's part of the journey.
Yes.
But over time, this can open up a doorway to a deeper level of embodiment.
Yeah, absolutely. And, with the action step, feel free to write, if you could, write the action step that you're going to take, that guided step that you are going to take next towards the manifestation of your business and your, prosperous, soul-centered destiny. I was very surprised. Nothing came through in the book. It was nothing about business. It was just the ocean. It was like, and the essence of that ocean. So my logic would have said, oh, I'm going to see all these things related to my business. And really, what could be more valuable than bringing that essence of fluidity, flow, spaciousness, joy, peace, vastness into business. So it's not necessarily going to be logical,
and it may unfold over time. So you may discover more and more. That's why you get to go back and sit with this, meditate with this, use this as part of your work. If this resonated with you, then you can sit with these pieces each day and just feel into them. What's their messages? What's their medicine? How can this assist you in applying this towards whatever you're moving towards?
Yeah, Natalie says the eagle is actually not very common for me because she goes into these journeys often. So really cool. That's a whole thing in and of itself. The eagle's medicine is very unique. Eagle, wolf, and hummingbird as a beautiful team.
All right.
Wow, great. There's actually a common thread here. A lot of eagle, a lot of hummingbirds. Hummingbird for Jane. Oh, beautiful.
Thanks, Heather.
So Heather, that's beautiful. More activist work for the animals. We totally and utterly support you in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you guys have any questions? I do see some in the chat from earlier, so we're going to answer those. But if you need to jump off, since it is over an hour in, if you could write in the comments now, or just in your calendar, more importantly, that one step you're going to take right now to step into. And we suggest that the step is very doable. So if the step that you just got in the shamanic pass was like get on a stage and speak or something like that, that's about 10 steps or 20 steps. Take that first step. The first step might be research stages to speak on. The second step, might be call 10 of them, or send, script an email to send to them. The third might be then to follow up on that email. And
the fourth may be calling a few friends or people, or reaching out to people who already do this in their life and ask for guidance, support, encouragement.
Yes, absolutely. And definitely enjoy the interviews as well, because there's more and more support. If you've missed any of them. Okay. So here.
There was a presence question.
So let's see. I have no business idea. Okay, this is personal growth.
I think it's back the other way.
Okay. And by the way, someone asked a question about creativity. I'm not sure. There we go.
Yep.
If you do have a sincere question about creativity, let us know, like, more specifically. Are you really asking how to be more creative? Or if you could just be more specific with that question, that would be great.
So the question is, what helps you to be present? I'm reading a very inspiring book on this by Osho.
Great question. Most important question, right? I really would love to take that back to watch the Leonard Jacobson interview, sit with as men. I think reading the Osho book is powerful to start sitting. The best advice I ever received in this arena was somebody said to me, sit at the feet of those who are awake. Sit at the feet of those who are awake. This is one way, because when you're in the space of somebody whose entire life and consciousness is devoted to the present moment, we start to
drop into presence.
Yes, it is
easily.
So much easier. It's why we're devoted to going and sitting with our teachers several times a year, every other week. So it's really, if this is priority for you, take a meditation class, show up every single week, whatever it is that will help you, but really sitting with those people who are embodying that at a group, just totally embodying it.
Yeah.
So watching Leonard's interview will be really helpful, but to bring it back to one thing he shared in there is go into those daily things that you do, taking a shower, washing the dishes, driving your car, whatever it is. Right now, it could be as simple as touching your physical body. Just bring yourself, your body is present.
Chewing your food.
Chewing your food. I was telling a client a couple days ago that really powerful. She likes to watch TV, or it's kind of a habit to watch TV as she eats. And it's hard to dismantle that for her right now, or more challenging for some of us, right? So my suggestion was just take your first 3 bites without the TV on, without the computer on, and just really take those 3 bites and notice how it feels when the food is going down. Notice how it feels when the saliva starts building in your mouth as you're chewing. Notice how it smells. Just really feel how your body's responding. Is it getting energized by the food or dipping? That's going to tell you a lot about what to eat, what not to eat for your unique body. That's a side note. But really,
many side notes.
But the smaller, the better. It's just repeating those small moments of presence. So whatever's Beautiful. Physically here. The other thing I would love to say, which I shared with this client as well, which is so profound. Sophie said this at the bonus interview, the Yogi Times creators. This is profound.
Wow, they were great.
I really want to highlight this, and I wish we did in the interview, but we didn't. Very quickly, Sophie said, I said to Sophie, what would you say to somebody who's fallen off track? They have this mission, they have this vision, they want to eat healthy, or they want to, thrive in their business, or they want to have a healthy relationship, or whatever it is, or finances. I said, what would you say to them if they slip off the healthy eating, for example? She said, no problem. Just get right back on track and drop the commentary. This is really key. She said it so quickly, but this is powerful. It's very subtle. Drop the commentary. So oftentimes the commentary is, oh, I might as well give up. Oh,
I've blown this 10,000 times already. Just add it to the list, whatever the story is.
Exactly. And so it's track your mind. Get a teeny tiny little journal. I call it a flow journal in the Diamond Process book. Fuel Love Over War. Every time you have a thought or a trigger, just write down, what was the thought you were thinking? What was that commentary? Get it out of your head and onto the page. Otherwise, it can really take over, and it's impossible to be present when the mind is just jumbled with all this stuff. So drop the commentary and come back to that getting on track. Okay, so you ate a chocolate cake, you ate the whole thing. Great. That's the past. Now come back and eat a cucumber slice or something with presence, and drop the commentary about it. It's really,
I mean, Leonard put it very simply with presence is just use something that's already here. You come and use one of your senses, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth. the fingertips, and feel,
Mm.
experience, and be present with the experience. And then use that, so you'll find that maybe the eyes or the ears, that sense of sight or sound, are your mechanism in, like through music or through visual, being present with a candle or present with something. Like a flower is easier than a piece of plastic, but you can be present with the plastic as well. And you're just with it.
Yeah.
You're breathing with it. And then mantra, which you've heard more than a few share through this series.
Yeah.
Mantra, if you have a mantra, awaken mantra, even better. I don't want to get into all of that now, but if you're just connecting to two words that are of value to you, you inhale love, you exhale peace. And you're just connecting to those qualities that you're already choosing to embody and live. Inhaling love, exhaling peace.
And for those of you who feel like really trapped in the mind, really you're just a big thinker, which is, there's a plus to that. You're probably highly intelligent, which is great. But if you find yourself overly overthinking, and it's really impossible, it feels impossible to calm down and relax and have a silent, a stiller mind, or be aware of the thoughts, a really powerful bridge is to just confess the truth. Just say, I can't stop thinking. I'm addicted to thinking. I think all the time and I can't stop.
I love to think.
Right. And just like name it, say it, rather than trying to get out of it. And that's a really powerful.
My dad said to me, when I first started meditating around my parents, when I'd go home, he said, what do you do when you meditate? And I said, well, Dad, part of my explanation was, it's dropping all of the thinking and just being with the breath. And he pauses and he kind of looks up and around. And I love you, Dad, if you're watching this.
We love you.
He goes, we're supposed to think.
No, he said, why would I want to stop thinking?
We're supposed to think.
Right. And it's such an innocent, honest response.
Right. Because we're also, you've heard the quote, I think, therefore I am. So we've been sold into the belief that we are what we think. Right. And it's actually the reverse. If you really unwind it, we are not our thoughts. We are what thoughts we empower, or that's who we become. Yeah. We become the thoughts that we empower, but the truth of who we are is not any thought. It's way beyond that.
And if we are our thoughts, then who is the one who's aware of the thoughts?
That's and who is watching
an interesting thought to sit with. I love what Natalie said. For me, it's an about section on her homepage. So yes, show your glory on your homepage.
Hallelujah. How would you go about your limiting self-belief that what your dream isn't really a proper job? For me, it's especially happening with my card readings, as this is such a misunderstood topic.
Beautiful. Yeah.
There's a few pieces. It's a great question. There's a few pieces with this. So the proper job is what I would look into is, where are the limiting beliefs about the proper job? What are they within you and in your family mix and your social dynamics? So you've got to address right relationship, or how you're still being kind of influenced by that. The other piece, if it's a misunderstood topic, so there's still some sort of belief that the what you're sharing is misunderstood. But if you actually open to a wider perspective, it may be really local, that it may be more misunderstood. But I just invite you to open and expand to where it's not misunderstood. And what part inside of you is still believing it's misunderstood? Because there's a part of you that's still fueling that. So until you come into this place where it doesn't matter if somebody misunderstands it or not, I'm so clear that I can share that within a sentence or two, and they'll at least understand. Okay? They may not get it right away, but they understand. But you've got to fully get it and believe in it.
Powerful. Yeah, the key to everything, right? Like if you're ever attracting haters into your world, they're just reflections of the inner hater. So it's like, where am I still believing that to be true? And just cleaning that up in consciousness, and you'll notice it dismantles.
How can I love the hater within me?
Oh, yes. Embrace. I love you, Natalie. She's like, oh, Descartes, what you have done. So Sabrina says, do you have tips on how to find and identify a good business coach? Yes. What qualities should he have? This is a great question because I just went through this. What qualities should he or she have? Sending out the wish to attract one that resonates with me. Okay. I recently had someone reach out. I actually get this a lot of people reaching out to me for that. And I do not do business coaching with clients, even if they beg and plead, because I want to, my suggestion is that if you're going to get a business coach, that coach is at a certain level, has all the things, is at a financial if you want to be, let's say, netting $1 million a year or 500,000 a year or whatever your goal is, maybe it's 100,000, 50,000 a year, get clear on what feels best to your heart, what feels right for you. Make sure the person you hire is doing that, no problem.
Yeah.
Make sure you ask yourself these questions. You might want to write it down. Why do I want a business coach? If they could wave a magic wand, what would they create for me, help me create? Once you clarify what that looks like, then you want to find a coach who is living that.
Living it, embodying it, and not just teaching it, but living it, right? Embodied.
And don't confuse a business coach, let's say, with a spiritual coach. For a long time, I was taking business advice from one of my spiritual guides. Don't do that. That
Great
is not
intention,
helpful.
and well, it's supportive in some way, but it's coming from an angle that's probably not going to get you to your goal.
To your goal, right? So I do not take spiritual advice from my business coach. No chance, right? So it's just making sure that which you want to achieve, that's why it always starts with clarifying your vision. What, if I could wave a magic wand, what would I want to see? You can, this is your destiny calling you forward, right? So clarify it, and then once you clarify it, you'll likely start attracting very clear. You'll get a Facebook ad or something of a coach that's like, wow, total resonance. But I would first start with getting crystal clear of what you want, and then just be very, very clear about finding the person who is truly living it. There are a lot of shysters out there. So you want to make sure that the person is very transparent about what they're doing.
And how do you feel in their presence? And you've got to be able to notice what you're feeling. Is it a resistance that's calling you forward to a higher level, or is it a feeling of, oh no,
Right.
no, something doesn't feel aligned? Is different than feeling resistance? Because often the person, when you're feeling resistance, it can be your stuff, right? And that person's actually bringing already the stuff that has to come up and out in order for you to step into the next level of your business or your life. Yeah.
What helped us make a decision with the business coach we're working with is I went to an event, and at that event, the community, her graduates were there. Their results were speaking for themselves, right? So just seeing the way they were thinking, the way the impact they were making, the dollar amount they were bringing in, the balance they had in their lives, like it just was so clear that there was something there that I could glean, and that was a missing link for me. So I knew that I had to open and build that muscle, and that made it really, really easy to choose. Let's see.
I think that's it for questions. If you have any more questions, this is your chance, live anyway.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to share. I know we're at more than almost near an hour and a half, so we'll go 5 more minutes if you have questions.
Yeah, and so to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Really, to wrap it up, I think the thing we want to leave you with is, first of all, we love you guys like with all of our hearts. And what we want to bring forward is this clarity that we discovered in interviewing Leonard Jacobson, which is we're not actually reinventing ourselves. This isn't about reinventing yourself.
Love this. Yeah.
This is about revealing yourself.
The true self.
Who you really are, and also that destiny that's pulling you forward. Guess what? Is already inside of you, which is so amazing.
It's already there. It's already there.
As Michelangelo said, like, I love this so much. Somebody said, his masterpiece, the David, they were like, how in the world did you create this perfect masterpiece? And he
Love
said
this.
it was simple. You know, the angel was already inside the marble. I just had to chisel away to set him
Everything
free.
that wasn't.
I had to
Yeah.
chisel away to set him free.
Yeah.
So, you know, like Jason's saying, everything that isn't you, everything that's not aligned, all the shoulds, all the things we believed about what success looks like, taking on, like James Bailey was talking about how he's following his father's path there for a while. And, you know, it's really like using this year of your life to question what you're doing, what your habits are, what you're investing your thoughts, your energy into. Why are you doing what you do? Why do you have the people in your life that you have? Is it out of obligation? Are you doing things to get liked by them? Are you doing things because you genuinely want to do them? Are you writing posts on Instagram because you're inspired to? Or are you doing it because it's a good strategy?
I don't post on Instagram for a reason.
We won't go there right now, but just a really good opportunity to remember that that which is already in you is emerging now. That which you want to be is already you. It's just kind of dusting off, like Jason said, the parts of you that aren't you, and to lead with your heart, lead with joy continuously. If I were to sum it up in one sentence, to emerge, to really reveal, to have that personal revelation, to reveal yourself, ask yourself again and again and again all day long, what feels best to me right now? What can I do? What is a form of self-care I can give myself right now that is so deeply nourishing? What lights me up? What inspires me? What is my joy? And bring that into the mix, because it's a road. It takes so much work. So it's really important to fuel the path with a lot of joy and recreation.
And this is also why we have guides and support system allies around us. Is sometimes it's not just what we feel, what makes us feel good, because a heroin addict feels good with heroin.
Right. Good point.
So you've got to be aware of the speed bumps on the road, and some of those speed bumps are actually going to avoiding them may be what feels good, but actually you need to go through them or over them.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have a support system of allies to help us remember where our little catches are, so we can not always move towards what just feels easy. Because I'll be honest, I don't want to get up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes, or 4 o'clock, but I'll do it anyway because there's a bigger why than the why not.
Yes.
Okay. So the feeling good is not always just what I feel right now. It's how am I going to feel tomorrow about what I did today. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. So we are holding the light for every single one of you, those who are, just starting the journey this weekend and drinking in these incredible interviews. And just as a reminder, by the way, Monica Ogando's gift is now there. We got so many emails on that. So her gift, all the gifts are there, but they're only there through the weekend and a few hours into Monday morning, our time. So, make sure to enjoy everything that you feel like just gobbling up and inspiring yourself to read or watch. And write it in your journal, right? Because once you walk away from this experience, you'll have this journal, and we suggest just read like a line that you wrote from it every day. And like Jason said, apply that, that day, or apply that one thing all year and see what happens. So we really appreciate you. Yes. Sabrina says, you're welcome. You're welcome, Natalie. Sabrina says, I love the idea. Creativity or reinventing yourself is actually a natural state of being or a natural transformation and shouldn't be confused with perfectionism. Yes. Yes. As Claire said, Heather's bringing this forward. Live in the fire. Live in the fire. That's where diamonds are born. We love you guys with all of our hearts. Thank you.
An honor to be with you through this whole journey and even moving forward. Lots of love to each one of you, and may your prosperous purpose come to fruition right here, right now.
Yeah, this year. And we're sending tremendous light. You guys have no idea how much love we're pouring your way.
We're really honored to be here with you through this.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Aw, you're welcome. We love you guys.
Lots of love. We'll see you soon.
Yes.
Many blessings.